I thought this was going to be an insta buy, and then I realized that it has an assist.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, back on the table today with the CRKT Ritual. So one of the biggest complaints about this knife since it was released is that CRKT this year, and some other manufacturers, are choosing to put assisted openers on their knives that have the bearings. And so what that does is that it creates an assisted opener where a lot of knife nuts and knife fans would probably prefer that there not be one. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to see if we can de-assist the CRKT Ritual. And from the way it looks, I'm guessing there's a torsion bar on this top side of the knife. So we are going to attempt to take it apart and remove the torsion bar. And at that point, if we can reassemble it, and we'll see how the action works. So now, from what I can tell, there is a detent hole on this blade. So it's going to be just seeing what happens in the process. So potential issues, I'm thinking for this disassembly, we might only have to remove this scale and the bolster. So that means we only have to remove these 4 screws. And that's what I'm hoping we're going to come up against, because then we don't have to do a full disassembly of the knife, and it just saves a lot of time. But the fact that this knife has an assisted opening mechanism in addition to ball bearing action has been kind of somewhat decried in the knife community. And I can see why CRKT went that direction. It's probably just a nice way to get a smooth assisted action. But that being said, I'm not sure why exactly. So if you have any ideas in the comments below, please let me know why you think CRKT this year decided to double up on bearings and on assisted opening. One theory I potentially have is that you'll notice that the bearings are not marked as IKBS. So IKBS may be something that was maybe licensed to CRKT, and maybe that's gone now. So maybe rather than say IKBS, they're just going to call it assisted bearing opening. I could be totally wrong, of course, so that's just a guess out there. But what we'll do is we'll try and take these scales off and see how it works. So we'll see. Hopefully they're not Loctited in. We're just going to try it out. And I do have the blade out just because when you take apart an assisted opener, you don't want the blade to actually fly open in the process while you're not expecting it. So we are using a T6 screwdriver for the handle screws. So it looks like it might be Loctited in, and I don't want to further strip this screw because it is starting to strip. So what I'm going to do, I am going to get some hot water. Generally, the way I do this is I fill up a mug with some really hot water out of the microwave, and I will dip the knife in to break out that Loctite. So I'm going to do that right now. So we're going to take a quick pause while I go get some hot water and heat up the knife. All right, got some really hot water here, and I'm just going to put the knife inside and essentially just let it sit for a minute. That'll heat it up, get it really nice and hot. And usually that does the trick of breaking off the Loctite of these screws. So about 3 minutes in the microwave is going to get water boiling, and that'll do it. So generally the way I usually do this is I will keep the knife in here until I start to feel the handle get hot. And then I know it's pretty hot and you can try and remove the screws. When I try to remove the screws, I'm probably going to do it off camera and try and get more leverage on the knife. Yep, so that got it right off. There we go. Perfect, and now the pivot. Yeah, that hot water just broke right through the Loctite, and this is a piece of cake now. There we go. So here is the culprit. We have a spring in there, so let's just take it out. See what happens. So we can see this, the way this spring worked. It goes in this hole right here. And it looks like it just fit right within the back of the bolster. Let me show you a close-up. The back of the bolster has all that grease in there, and that keeps the spring from rattling when it's installed. So some older Kershaw knives, if you notice with spring assist, sometimes they rattle. It's usually because the factory grease has dried up or gone away, been washed out. So what we'll try and do, let's just take the spring out, put that over here, reassemble everything. So it should be a quick process. And honestly, the easier this is, the better, because I'm hoping that if anyone else wants to do this, you know, this won't be a major issue. There we go. For some reason that screw did not want to line up on the scale. Let's see if we'll have the same issue down here. Nope, this one looks like it's going right in. Perfect. So my hands are a little bit greasy from handling all the grease in there, but let's work in the pivot. Get some good tension on that. Okay. Oh, that's the issue. There is no detent on this knife. So the way it works, of course, it just pulls right out. So it's got to have the spring in there. So that's unfortunate. I could have swore I saw a detent hole on the blade. So that would have been nice to see. But we can see that the centering kind of went a little wonky. And the blade just flops right out. Oh no, this is total failure. Still solid lockup. But let's go ahead and put the screw back, or put the spring back. All right, so if we can get this back together without breaking anything, then I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. There we go. Good as new. Sadly, guys, we cannot de-assist the CRKT Ritual. So that is rather unfortunate. I was really hoping that there would be a detent hole on that blade, and I could have swore I saw one when I was looking at it from a side profile, but I guess that's just not the case. So unfortunately, it looks like the Ritual cannot be de-assisted. So that was the main fault of this knife, and I think it's going to be the only thing holding a lot of people back from buying one. With that being said, before we're done, I did notice one other potential flaw in this knife, because when this blade comes out, it has a lot of authority. That spring is strong. So one thing I did notice, though, if you take a closer look, you can look at the stop pin and kind of see how tiny it is in there. So I'm worried that over time, with the amount of force this blade has when it comes out, that stop pin might eventually not be enough. So maybe not a problem, maybe will be a problem, not sure, but just have to wait and see. So hope you enjoyed watching this, guys. Sadly, we can't de-assist this bad boy, but it's still a really nice knife, really cool to look at, and great conversation piece. You know, maybe not everyone's idea of an EDC knife, but I think it has its place. So if you have any questions about what I did in the process or anything I did wrong, of course, feel free to comment below. But that's it. Have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.